While July 4th marks the nation's independence, Juneteenth represents the moment that freedom was fully extended to all Americans. And this year's Freedom Day celebration in Vincennes will honor that legacy with music, food, and community. It'll be at the McGrady-Brockman House in Vincennes. And joining us to talk about the event are organizers Tom Bartholomew and Jonna Murphy. And thank you folks for being here with us today.
Of course.
So Tom, let's kind of review what the Black History Project is. Got started about 3 years ago, right?
It did get started about 3 years ago. The Black History Preservation Project got started in Knox County because we have at the McGrady-Brockman House court records dating back to the late 1700s. Late 1700s was before Indiana was a state. It was before Indiana was a territory. So at the McGrady-Brockman House, we have some of the most significant and oldest court records in the area, and a lot of those court records have to do with this area's own Black history, and it's very significant Black history.
So what's the community's response been to the project over the past 3 years?
It's been really good. I think the community is glad to know how big their history is and how inclusive their history is. There's really a lot of significance to the Black history and all the history, and now we're looking at being able to tell the whole story.
And again, you're located at the McGrady-Brockman House.
That's right.
So why'd you choose that building?
Well, that's where the library, the Knox County Public Library's historical and genealogical archive, and as such, we house a lot of the old records there, old records going back to, like I said, 1790. And once you start digging through these records or even looking at them, you realize the significance of the history. So when you're in the McGrady-Brockman House, there's no other place to have this project.
And folks can go in and tour that? Or?
They can. If they have questions about history or their own genealogy, they can walk on in and they can ask Richard or Jim or Cindy, and they will assist them in looking up their family histories or genealogy or just other history that they might be interested in. Vincennes has a lot of history, and it's a great place to work.
So who are the key people or groups involved in the project?
In the Black History Preservation Project?
Yeah.
Well, we've got the Black History Preservation Project guidance team, and we meet there every Thursday. And that's how we sort of decide what directions we're going to go with our initiatives.
So, and Juneteenth is in June, of course. June
Yes.
the 19th. So kind of run us through what that is.
Well, sure. The first Juneteenth was in 1865, and that's when the Union soldiers entered Galveston, Texas, and that is generally considered when the last of the enslaved people in America were considered free. Generally considered. There were probably some hangers-on after that, but that's when the last, generally accepted as when the last enslaved people were freed. June 1865. Now, to put that in perspective and in some context, the Emancipation Proclamation was issued on June 1st, 1863, and that declared that all enslaved people in the Confederate States would be free. But the Civil War didn't end till April 9th, 1865. So Juneteenth actually happened after the end of the Civil War. Now, to put this all in a framework, what is known as the Reconstruction Amendments all happened around then or just following the Civil War. So, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, and that was in 1865. In 1868, the 14th Amendment gave citizenship to all people born in the United States. And so that really had a big effect when you consider the transatlantic slave trade and who was born here and who came over, or who was brought over, I should say. And the 15th Amendment gave Black Americans the right to vote, and that was ratified in 1870. So those three amendments really create the framework for what, were the follow-up for what happened following the Civil War.
And actually, the fight and the advocacy for freedom for Black Americans actually started much earlier than that in Knox County.
It really did. It started right here in Knox County in a big way. It's very exciting to be at McGrady-Brockman and have access to the actual documents because it all went down here. It all played out here. While the 13th Amendment says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, shall exist within the United States. That was in 1865, but it was 70 or 80 years before then that same verbiage appeared in the Northwest Ordinance, and that applied right here in Knox County. Same verbiage appears in the Indiana State Constitution, again, years before the 13th Amendment. So in writing the 13th Amendment, a lot of those cues were taken from things that happened right here in Indiana.
Wow. So that's what makes Black history so unique in Knox County. I mean, we're one of the first cities, of course, one of the first county settlements in the U.S., so having it start here is just phenomenal.
It is, and there's numerous examples where some extremely significant legal proceedings happened as far as Black people petitioning for their own freedom from slavery or indentured servitude. And it's easy to think that, well, that stuff only happened in Philadelphia, or that stuff only happened in Washington, D.C. But it didn't. It happened right here in Vincennes. And people don't accept that. They don't understand it. Now, there's a lot of pride to be taken because some very significant things happened here. People gained their freedom here, or because of things that were initiated here. Polly Strong, Mary Clark, Judah, all these people petitioned for their freedom in the Knox County court system with abolitionist lawyers at their side. And there's some amazing history that needs to be told, and it's so interesting.
And we're going to celebrate that history coming up on June 28th for Freedom Day. And Jonna, you're one of the organizers for that. So tell us what's going to happen on the 28th.
So there's going to be it's an all-day event. Tim's Barbecue is going to come out and feed the people. It's known for the best barbecue in the tri-state area. We're going to have that. He has like pulled pork steak sandwiches, Philly cheesesteaks, like all the barbecue you can think of, he got it. And then throughout the whole day, the garden tours, you can tour the garden that's behind McGrady-Brockman House. They are, it's called the Grove City Teaching Garden, and it's a self-guided event where you can go look at different plants and herbs and produce that was relevant to African American history. Or whether they came over like by the ship from West Africa, or even, use an ingredient in a favorite recipe from a church recipe. It brings you back to the earlier times when all they had was the produce. There wasn't any like manufactured things, like they had to grow it themselves. And then at 10:30, we'll have a Haitian cooking demo. So if you like Creole cooking, you want things to smell good in your house, this is the place to be to learn that. And Nadej is from God's Graded Boutique in Vincennes, and Tiffany Marinaka of Knox County Public Library. They'll be doing that learning cooking demo as well. And then at 12, Larry Curry will do a historical presentation within the house, McGrady-Brockman House. And Black's history is what we're all about. We're here to, get the Black history known. And that's why the preservation project happened, is to get Black history known. Not even just in like Knox County, but it also reaches over to Lawrence County as well. And Illinois as well as that too. But he's there to, we're glad to have Larry on board. He gives information out to where it really captivates people, draws people in so they know the history and how it came about, and the way he presents this historical, it's pretty amazing. And it will, you come in, you learn, and you go back out smarter than you never known before.
That's the goal, is to learn.
Yes.
And this is the first year you've had this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the first year that we've had Freedom Day, and it's a blessing to be a part of it. And then we'll have music around about 1, and it's called Be From Soul in Deep Pocket, and they're from Evansville, and they have amazing work from there. So,
Well, hey, we thank you all for being here. And again, that's starts at 10 o'clock, right?
yes,
10 o'clock, McGrady-Brockman House on June 28th. Celebrate Freedom Day.
yes.
All right. So thank you both again for being here with us
course.
today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's more information about Juneteenth, the Freedom Day Festival, and Black History Preservation Project at our Vincennes PBS websites and YouTube channel.